Hello, I'm going to be talking to you about the cons of no-fault divorces. What is a no-fault divorce? A no-fault divorce is a type of divorce where the spouse that is filing for the divorce doesn't have to prove any fault on the part of the other spouse. What this means is that they just need to give a reason that the state will honor for the divorce. And some of the most common reasons in this situation being irreconcilable differences or irreparable breakdown of the marriage. With a no-fault divorce, the spouse cannot object to another's petition for a no-fault divorce, as the objection itself is reviewed as an irreconcilable difference. All states recognize no-fault divorces, but some require that spouses live separately for a designated period of time before they can file for this divorce, before the court will approve it, so to say. What is a fault divorce? A fault divorce is the other side of the divorce spectrum. While these aren't as common, and in most cases they aren't even recognized by states, when they are recognized by the state, one of the spouses requests that a divorce be granted based on some fault of the other spouse. The most common grounds for this fault divorce are adultery, abandonment for a certain length of time, prison confinement, a spouse is physically unable to have sexual intercourse, and inflicting emotional or physical pain, aka cruelty. What's the real difference between the two? Well, what you don't get in a no-fault divorce is comparative rectitude. What this is when both of the partners in the marriage seek a fault divorce and can both prove that the other spouse is at fault, the court decides which one is the least at fault. In a no-fault divorce, you don't get this. It's whoever files for the no-fault divorce. And what else you get is you get defense. In a no-fault divorce, you can't defend your side. As I said before, it counts as a reason. Unlike a no-fault divorce, a spouse can object to a fault divorce by disproving or presenting a defense to the fault complaint. What are some of the issues with no-fault divorces? No-fault divorces are mostly unilateral. The judge has the rights to make the decisions on issues such as custody, assets, and support. Mothers are given more importance in divorce cases. Children often suffer the most from the divorce, and the waiting period for a no-fault divorce is very high. So, from no-fault divorces are mostly unilateral. Over 80% of no-fault divorces are uncontested and mostly unilateral. This means that one party can file for the divorce and the court can pass that order. In this situation, the court does not take into account the consent of the other party and whether he or she wants to end the marriage. A situation in which this happened was with a mother who didn't wish to give up her marriage and the husband who had cheated on her. The mother fought for many years over preventing this from happening, and then when their state finally allowed no-fault divorces and changed the law, it went against her, and the father was able to file for a no-fault divorce, even though the mother wanted to keep their family together. The judge has the final decision. It is the judge who has the right to decide on issues such as custody, dividing marital assets, and spousal support. At times, the decisions are not objective, and this can lead the way to injustice. What this means is that the judge has to find the right context that someone in a no-fault divorce is trying to point out without getting personal objectivity into it, then make a reasonable decision. What is unreasonable behavior to one may not be to another. What it means is, how can one person who sees from one point of view determine what is unreasonable that the other may not actually see? Mothers are given more importance. The no-fault divorce laws take away a father's right to his children, as a husband cannot defend his wife who wants a divorce. Mothers are given more importance in such divorce cases, and it becomes hard for a father to prove that his wife is not a good mother to his children. Although in recent years there has been an increase in equal residential custody instead of a bias, mothers are still much more likely to be awarded primary residential care. The estimates are that mothers receive primary custody 68 to 88% of the time, fathers receive primary custody 8 to 14% of the time, and equal residential custody is awarded in only 2 to 6% of cases. Children suffer from divorces the most, as the court will not enforce any spousal support and the mother gets the child custody. It often means a low standard of living for the children if the mother is not working. This can lead to a situation of a weakened parent-child relationship. The child will often receive less emotional support, financial assistance, and practical help from their parents. Divorced homes show a decrease in language stimulation, pride, affection, stimulation of academic behavior, encouragement of social maturity, and warmth directed towards the children. The waiting period for no-fault divorce is too high. Depending on the state that a couple lives in, the couple seeking a no-fault divorce must live separately for a period of time. And in a state such as Louisiana, they must live apart for 2 years or more. On the other side is the state of Indiana, in which people must live apart for 60 days or more before the court will grant the divorce. That ends my first part of the debate.